In a coastal village, a fisherman's worth is measured by what he pulls from the water. For Santiago, an aging Cuban fisherman, that scale has been empty for 84 consecutive days. He carries a devastating social stigma, quietly labeled by his peers as hopelessly unlucky. This photograph shows the baseline of success in his community. Every day, other boats return heavy with their daily haul, while Santiago returns with an empty skiff, his dignity as a provider eroding with every sunset. That kind of dry spell creates a vacuum. Even his devoted apprentice, Manolin, is forced by his parents to leave Santiago's side, to work on a boat that actually brings in a catch. When the 85th day arrives, Santiago makes a choice. He abandons the safe, heavily trafficked fishing waters where the rest of the fleet operates. This satellite map traces the North American coastline and the dark blue Gulf Stream. Santiago rows past the shallow shelf into these unpredictable, deep water currents. By noon, the coast vanishes. He is alone in a massive blue void, beyond reach of rescue. By the time the sun is high, the village is a memory. Santiago has traded the safety of the shallows for a deep water arena, where a single catch can either rewrite his history or end it. The confrontation begins at midday. Far below the surface, a massive, unseen creature takes his deep water bait. Looking at the mechanics of this struggle from a top-down view, the scale difference is clear. The giant marlin on the end of the line is so powerful that it acts as a biological engine, steadily dragging the tiny skiff further out to sea. This sparks a 3-day war of attrition. The heavy fishing line cuts into Santiago's hands, leaving them bleeding and cramped into rigid claws. He is entirely exposed to the elements, operating on zero sleep. As the suffering drags on, a psychological shift occurs. Santiago stops viewing the giant fish as a simple prize. He begins to speak to it, developing a deep respect for the creature as a brother locked in the exact same struggle for survival. Finally, the stalemate breaks. Santiago summons his remaining strength, hauls the exhausted giant to the surface, drives his harpoon home, and lashes the massive body to the side of his boat. Santiago matched the endurance of a creature twice his size for 3 full days. By finally lashing the marlin to his skiff, he proves he still possesses the strength to dominate the Gulf Stream's most powerful inhabitants. The ocean immediately exacts a toll for that victory. The marlin's blood disperses into the current, creating a chemical beacon that stretches for miles. Mako and Galano sharks arrive with a singular, violent focus. They begin tearing into the marlin's flank, driven to consume everything Santiago worked for. Santiago launches into a frantic defense of his catch. He strikes the sharks with his harpoon until he loses it. He lashes a knife to an oar and stabs at them until the blade snaps. He bludgeons them with a wooden club. Despite his best efforts, there are simply too many. The sharks systematically tear away chunk after chunk, devouring all the marlin's meat. The frenzy eventually ends, leaving Santiago to row the long distance back to shore, towing nothing but a giant white skeleton in the water behind him. It is a brutal paradox. He fought and won the greatest physical battle of his life, only to return home with his prize entirely stripped away. He reaches the harbor in the dead of night. Physically broken and utterly exhausted, Santiago unsteps his mast, crawls up the hill to his shack, and collapses into a deep sleep. By the strict economic rules of the village, he failed. He brought back 0 meat to sell at the market. Technically, his streak without a catch has extended to 88 days. But the next morning, the village wakes up. Manolin and the other local fishermen gather around Santiago's skiff, staring at the massive skeleton still lashed to the wood. The fishermen gather in a heavy silence, measuring the 18-foot span of the skeleton. The scale of the bones makes the magnitude of Santiago's struggle undeniable to every man on the beach. Santiago falls back into his sleep, penniless and physically broken. But in the harbor, the 18-foot skeleton remains lashed to the wood, a physical monument to his refusal to let go of the line.